Good afternoon, everybody. What's up? It's Donnie Crash Bones. It's been a fucking while. Welcome to Unknown for the Most Likely. How is everybody today? Today, I have a special guest for who we were supposed to have last time on the show. We had to reschedule for another different day. Today we have 734 SMG. He is known to have some stuff on Bandcamp, such as some, stuff featuring Scumbag Fred, some really interesting trappy hip hop type of stuff, very underground and stuff. Also, you might hear one track on the wrestling compilation, Dan Severn song, "The Strongest Man in the World."
Oh, here we go. Hello.
What up,
How's it going today, brother?
shit, I'm alright. Sorry, I'm like red or whatever.
Well,
Trying to get situated. Give me about 2 seconds, though. Hold on. You know how it is. Technical difficulties and that sort of shit.
yeah.
Alright, how's it going over there?
Oh man, it's winter up in Saskatchewan is Canada and shit, but
What is
otherwise,
it? You got like, is it like 20 C in the day and then like 0 at night?
I think it's we got some minus like something weather. It's just very mucky outside. Everything is just like puddles and shit and fucking shit. But yeah, uh, but yeah, no. Let's get to the interview. Yeah. So. I've definitely been like diving ever since like been learning through past artists and stuff such as Abaticals and
Okay.
Ashita and stuff and when I was like doing the wrestling compilation and stuff like that I was kind of glad definitely like you were like one of the first people actually who was added something different from but also work with noise artists stuff. How long have you been doing this for?
Well, I mean, I make a bit of noise myself. I just don't know who knows about it. Under the name Shit Blister, there's some stuff available out there. Did some splits with Apothicals, of course. So there's a couple splits out now with him that are going to be noise as well under the name Shit Blister, and then there's 734 SMG splits as well. Um, and then I've also been in like punk and ska core bands and death rock bands and shit too. But I've always been making hip hop music as well. But I just hadn't really released any out until like maybe 2015.
Yeah. Um, so hopping on the compilation and like as you're a wrestling fan and like the Dan Severn track and stuff, it's
Oh,
a
I
really
went to school with Dan Severn's daughter. She was in my math class.
oh shit.
So, like, that's something interesting that you wouldn't have known unless I told you. But yeah, that's why I was like, you know what? Yeah, I got a track.
So yeah, you're like a Attitude Era type person, or do you watch wrestling too?
Just I do watch a bit of some like UFC and stuff like that growing up. You know what I mean? But and if something's on, I'll watch it. But like wrestling, like skateboarding, like gardening, fucking painting, all kinds of shit. Into that. Wrestling's dope though too. But I'm kind of like out of the loop lately, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I think a lot of people like to watch some like old stuff back from the past and stuff. Like I like to watch some IWA. I like to watch some you. I like to watch Attitude. It always um. So like for being like an artist, like as like you said, you like your other projects and stuff like that. Have you ever played any shows with as like your rapper name and with
Oh
other?
yeah, yeah. I played in Minneapolis with who was there? Tony Montana, and there's this dude McChicken that's in. Trying to think of his like gore grind band. It's slipping my mind. And I was with Hellgillies at that event as well. Played a show with Dex Scott and a bunch of bands in Cleveland, 2021, I believe, as well as sometimes I play around Detroit, various like open mics or events if they need somebody to fill in or something. But
Okay.
hit or miss, you know. Sometimes I actually be pretty active with shows or try to be, but I maybe haven't been as much as I've been like kicking out mixtapes and shit. So I probably put out like under 734 SMG probably like 30
Oh,
tapes and
yeah.
singles and splits and stuff. I have no idea. Been very busy with it though.
Well, I mean that's a good thing. I think a lot of hip hop and like underground trap doesn't really do a lot of things. I think it's like more focused on like the digital aspect and stuff,
Yeah, a
which
lot of people are hyper focused on the streaming aspect of it. For
it's a little shitty.
sure. And I try to keep the physical media still a thing, because if we let it go, then it won't exist, right?
Good to keep it going.
Hmm.
Um, so before like you doing all the like this music and stuff like that, what are your favorite like bands and artists that like you related with over the years, or you kind of were influenced by?
Oh shit, probably you know Discharge, Wu Tang, Big Pun, fucking Big Lurch. If we're just going any genre of music, just basically I'm pretty like I like a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm. Like yeah, anything from like I even like listening to like old stuff, but just whatever. Basically, if it's cool, I'll check it out. I don't really like country music though.
I think
Like I could go to a rave, I could um, go to a hip hop show, go to a metal show or whatever,
yeah.
and it'd be cool.
Uh,
Um, sorry, I'm smoking.
well, that definitely is very. I think I've had a couple times I've had hoods on this podcast, and I haven't had any problems with Instagram
Mm,
yet. So,
mm.
um,
Well, your screen blacked out for a second, like I couldn't see you, but it seems like people are tuning in and saying what's up.
yeah, definitely. My I don't know. I think Instagram like has a little technical difficulties here and there, but
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have any? Do you have any memories going to shows over the years and before like starting to become like an artist? Like, and what was your experience like, entering the scene?
Mm. Well, I've always like, interestingly enough, like first couple shows I went to, like were like local punk shows and shit, and people were like maybe not as welcoming as they are today. Like I remember getting in a fight and then being told not to come back, and then I kept coming back, and then everybody grew some love for me and let me be around.
Yeah.
But like yeah, you'd be more prompt to get in a fight, or people would be more like it'd be more tight knit. Like if you were like just some random person showing up, like maybe it wouldn't be as welcoming. So I like that that's changed a little bit, but some what was I gonna say? What was the initial question again though? What shows and shit?
At what
Uh,
show?
Met some good friends in an alleyway when I went to go see the Addicts, and then that was probably like I don't know 2007 or something. That was cool. I've been to a lot of shows though. Um, there's a really crazy show in New Orleans. Went to this warehouse, and it was like me and a bunch of people from Detroit. We had come down for Halloween and shit, and we got real drunk. Went to this warehouse show. There were some death metal bands playing, and people were really mad They're like, you guys are really violent in the pit. You need to cut it out. And we're like, this is normal pitting. And then like, I guess they don't like crowd killing or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And it ends up becoming a big fight that spills out into the fucking street. And like, the people that we were hanging out with, that we were getting along with, but everybody's fighting. This dude pulls up in the van, and he's like, "Everybody get in the van." I'm like looking across to like the venue entrance, and somebody's acquired a sword and shit, and they're like waving it around. People are breaking bottles and shit. We spill out into this fucking van and get out of there. Fucking wild times. That was an interesting show.
It seems
Yeah,
like a lot of type
a
of
lot
shit
of
that happened.
little chaos type shit, you know, but
Yeah.
definitely nobody got arrested that night. Nobody got stabbed, so that was good.
Yeah, that's I've heard some bands over the years and stuff like that where it's just like I think it was like more beat down bands that had more of like a meaner, attitude.
Oh yeah. Go to a show and get beat up because you're not wearing a hoodie and sports shorts.
Yeah, it's just I
Oh,
think it
I saw Weekend Nachos and Afternoon Gentlemen, and it was just like people throwing fists and fucking like kicking the air the whole time. You know the deal, and doing like minor calisthenics. I'm like, what's going on?
yeah, I mean as much
But
as
it
like
was cool. It was cool. The bands were tough. Like, and it seemed like, you know, other than people trying to be too cool, like it was pretty fun.
I think we're past that point because like I think we were in a time where we did have a lot of people who would be those type of people at shows and they would be ruining it for everybody. But I think
Right. Except for themselves, they're loving it. They're like having the time of their life that day. Oh yeah.
sure. But yeah, weekend nachos. Basically, I've been a fan
I
for
mean,
the.
I'm close friends with Lieutenant Dan, so like I was at all their shows. We used to book them all the time at a house called the Meat Mansion, and basically we did like dueling sets where we'd have two bands set up next to each other, and like one grind band would play one fucking song, then the next band would play another song. I mean, oh, you're Canadian, right? So you probably I met those dudes Archigothis before.
Oh fucking a, that's fucking great.
Yeah,
Couple times.
shouts out to those guys.
That's out. I think that's where the Bathycal thing that comes from a little bit, doesn't it? Or is it?
Gothicles,
Yeah, where did he where
Gothicals.
did he get his name from?
There's another band that's similar. It's kind of like if you were, I would say, I don't know. It's just like a play on another band's name, I guess.
I guess that yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. It was just like a Gothicals, like it's definitely like a Bathicals, a Gothicals, yeah. I was like kind of like thinking about that for a bit though. So yeah. How's your guy you guys have a really like a awesome like friendship and stuff like that. You guys worked on like a lot of music together.
Oh yeah, this past year a lot. You know, anytime he's like, "Hey, I got an idea for a tape," I'll take the time to knock out some stuff. You know, mix and master it and get it back to him as best as I can. Sometimes, you know, it's going to come out on a tape or a CD. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to know, hit up at Sore Throat Records. He's got copies of the 734 SMG April Aberdeen Apothecals split, as well as 734 SMG Hellgillies Apothecals split, and some others. He's probably also got Ship Blister. He's got some other splits. I think there's a Apothecals little back page split on cassette or so. Maybe it's a CDR. I don't know what format, but there's a lot of stuff going on over there with him. Uh, yeah, for sure.
Did your guys' when did you guys like meet? When did you guys start making music together?
Mm. Like probably this time, or like yeah, about this time last year. So about a year, I would say technically.
Oh, so like you guys just met last year?
Last year, yeah, but it was because he was like, you know, eventually when I worked with, I've done some tapes with Last Action from Belgium, um, and I like, you know, submit to what's dude's name? His name is Eisenlager. I think he's in um, Germany, and he has like what do I want to call it? Oh, he's got a compilation that he puts out pretty regularly, and it's called Midnight Radio Compilation. And I've been doing submissions there, and some of the artists that make noise and some like other music were artists that had. So by mutual friends, eventually we had met up. I guess does that make sense?
For sure.
But yeah, outside of noise, I work with a lot of hip hop artists as well, and trap artists.
Yeah. I was starting off the show. I was like talking about the people you've like worked with, like Scumbag, Fred,
Oh yeah,
and
that's the homie.
uh, other really interesting names. I've been really, intrigued to see like that outside of like mainstream hip hop. Because mainstream hip hop, I feel like sometimes gets beaten like a dead horse and stuff like that. Such beats they make.
Hmm.
Um, your guys' stuff is like I feel like it's just like it, it's perfect as it is. It's not over like produced. I feel it's I think it's just
We
fucking.
made that on a Chromebook, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that music that we made during that period, during COVID and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of people that like they spend a lot of money on being in the studio, a lot of money on mixing and mastering. If you listen to my first 5 releases on Trashbuck Records, I was at studios every day, paying studio time, paying for mixing and mastering, and then I wanted to figure it out myself,
Yeah.
and I got to it's day by day with that sort of stuff. You're not going to just like miraculously be like a legend at it. But yeah, day by day, learn different techniques,
Yeah.
apply them, and see how it works. You might be like just what do I want to say? Just like tweaking the littlest thing, like just the very littlest bullshit all the time, just to dial it in.
Yeah. I've been recording on a laptop and stuff, just using Audacity and shit. And literally,
Okay.
that's basically the only thing I would be only using
I
for
mean, I
is,
do a bit of beat production and shit like that too.
yeah,
I think it's part of the encompassment of hip hop is like, graffiti, breakdancing, rapping or being an MC, then
keep that,
beat making or DJing or production.
yeah, absolutely keeping that shit alive. Like, I think like how
As
it
well
felt like,
as a pretty good staple of that too. Like if nobody writes, then that'll get lost too, and then it's not very rap, is it?
speaking of like writing, what do you like to write about into your tracks, and what are like some kind of examples?
Hmm. Well, like I would say some things are from like firsthand experience. And that's. Oh, hold on one second. This is a test garden, so it's a bunch of different strains that I'm running for my seed company, Cultures and Seed Company. Probably hit me up on Cultures and Seed Co. if you want to chat that one, but I'm in the middle of the interview. What was the question again?
Um,
Sorry.
so like basically stuff like you write.
Oh,
What are some
with the
examples?
lyrics and stuff. Lyrics. So, okay. Well, some of it, obviously firsthand experience, things that you know already. Um, let's see. There's a lot of things that I write about. Let's see a good example though. They're trying to separate my hands from the scale and the clientele, but I'll move them packed as well. You know, that's just about hustling, obviously, or like clockwork, who's on the block lurking with the Glock work. Block 17, stop jerks trying to cop work for the wrong worth. What's your life work? Like clockwork, you know, like people are out every day trying to make something move, trying to get that money going. So that's definitely things that are going on. I mean, people get shot at gas stations and all kinds of bullshit out here. So usually it's about money or drugs. So and women, you know, so it's either somebody's fucking around out here and they're gonna get themselves shot over women or some drugs or some money that they didn't pay somebody for, some bullshit. So that's pretty commonplace. Or, you know, lots of bars, lots of songs about drug abuse and shit like that, because obviously being around that as an environment, you see that, you know, you see people dealing with depression, anxiety, whatever, and they're like, oh, I'm just gonna smoke some crack or whatever. Like, I'm not smoking no crack, I'm smoking some buds and shit like that. People can do whatever they're gonna do. I don't judge nobody. You know what I mean? I'm not Judge Judy. That's funny, and that ties back in because we had mentioned Scumbag Fred earlier, because he said, I can't judge nobody. Do I look like Judge Judy? In one of our songs. Sorry
Yeah,
if I went on a tangent there.
well, that's a good track. I gave it a good listen and stuff. We'll get some links and we'll post them on after like the show and stuff.
Sure,
But
sure.
um, oh, yeah, no, that's pretty understandable for like writing wise and stuff like that. I think like it when it used to be like that, and those it was like those type of those type of contexts and those subjects and stuff. Uh, it would always be like from where like people came from and stuff, and it's just like it's always good when it feels like it's like that, because if it's
Right,
forced, just it doesn't do anything, doesn't do its justice.
right.
But yeah,
Yeah, you gotta keep it grimy and raw. If it sometimes things that they're over curated, they're like thought too hard of, you lose like the initial what it actually is, the essence of the thing, right?
mhm.
They're like, oh, that's too refined for it to really fit into this thing or this thing. Well, things are broad, and you know, basically everything is reality is based on your perception, right? So to a
No,
degree.
no. Basically, we have about more minutes.
Okay,
To,
sure.
um. Uh. What is I was gonna get into? So so yeah, you were talking about like for COVID and stuff. Like, do you have this not like probably like probably like we'll move on from music and like get into like other ideas such as like movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, has there been any film or any kind of anything like you've read or whatever that's literally that has influenced you into like writing some interesting like really cool reference bars
Mhm.
or anything like that?
Yeah, let me think about that for a second, though. That's a good question. Hold on one second. Oh no, movies and stuff like that. All right. Well, I do mention Freddy, Michael, and Jason, so that's gonna be, you know, Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. Um, so those are some classic horror movie slashers from the 80s. I think you should probably know them. I think a lot of people do know them. Some people won't, though, I guess. Um, let, let's see. I'm trying to think. Actually, when you asked me that, I thought of another artist, and they had like sampled the little music from the film Puppet Master, or
Yeah,
like I can think of like different examples of other people, but I'm trying to think other than me mentioning Freddie and Michael and Jason a few times in random shit. I said, you know, like the abbreviation of Full Metal Jacket is FMJ.
yeah,
I said like Freddie, Michael, and Jason, no matter what pace you're running, I'm gunning faster. You know,
that's like
both faster than you can run, and they're cool.
yeah, I like that. I like
Those horror movies are like, bro, you can run your ass off, and somehow you turn around a corner and you're like just getting stabbed in the neck. You're like, oh, we're partying, we're having a good time, we're gonna like hook up with some people and shit, and as soon as you go to get laid, boom, you're getting fucking killed. Like, so you just gotta keep your head on swivel type shit.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they get you in those movies.
Yeah, definitely.
If that's the existence rules for in that span of the universe, whatever. Sorry, getting spacey on you.
Fucking, there's always rules in a horror film, and definitely in a slasher film too.
Right.
So you're a big horror film fan?
Yeah, B movies. I was watching Plan 9 from Outer Space last night, like an old Ed Wood movie. It's like notably one of the worst movies. Well, it can't be as bad as Troll 2, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find Troll 2, and it's like for my own good, I think, at this point,
I
because
got you. Don't sweat. I can ruin your mind. I have all the worst films.
the room is still
In,
bad.
in real life, like I have a copy. It's the director's screening copy that they send out to movie theaters to see if they'll screen the movie, right? And it's the Human Centipede.
Fuck.
I found it thrifting one day. It's like in one of those thin cases. I thought that shit was crazy. I'm not at my house, so I can't just like grab it. But if I find it, I'll send you a flick of it for sure.
Awesome, that would be great. Yeah, no, fucking love. I love. I watched two of the Human Centipedes because the third one was just shit,
Okay,
completely.
I haven't seen that one yet. The
Right.
second one was weird to me because it was like ironic. I think they were trying to be like, well, look at this guy doesn't understand shit, but he's gonna like staple people together with like a staple gun and try to use duct tape and shit. It's like 100% not accurate.
They
Like you couldn't put people together that fashion.
they wanted everybody to believe that, like, Human Centipede was just like a fictional idea, and then the second one was made for someone who's a fan of an actual fictional
Right.
film. And the most really phony thing about that film was just like the rest sequence. It was gross stuff, but I
Let me
you
think.
about what you said about it and stuff, like there's some things that makes it not feel
Right.
realistic.
Were you a fan of trauma films?
Roma has a lot of good films, yes.
Okay. How about like Charles Band's stuff, like Puppet Master, and there's a lot of stuff in that. There's the what's it called, Subspecies, and they're like Romanian vampires in the one, and then there's like they got like Doll Man is another series that company made.
Yeah.
But some other cool movies if you haven't seen them: Mutant Hunt, um, Slime City, Street Trash. Those are all good
I
if you're into.
That's one of my favorite films. I
What's that,
think
Street Trash?
Street Trash is
I
really
sampled Street Trash. I had a death rock project that came out around 2011, 12. Actually, I think it's going to be re-released on Memento Mori Records, but there was a group it was called Xenophobe, and it was like a goth death rock post-punk thing, and we did a lot of samples from we did a song. Our first song was like sampled Street Trash when he's like, "Fuck you, here's $1, give me my booze," or whatever the fuck, kind of when dude is like buying the beer at first, and then the
yeah,
dude steals the 10 of 5 Viper, so then he doesn't melt, and then he's like pissed about it. The whole chase scene, you know what I mean.
yeah, no,
Shout
fuck,
out to that director for being a fucking complete madman.
yeah. If there's like honestly any like remakes and stuff that you could say that actually did a good job, what would you say for a horror film that did a good job for a remake?
Damn. Hmm. Like recently?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. Hmm. It's a good question. I haven't really been that happy with remakes. I'm like, don't we have other ideas? But I'd like to think, yeah. it broke my brain, dude. That's a good question.
Might be hard. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not sure. I don't think there has been one where that's really been stand out, and I'm like, yeah, this is killing it. Like,
Yeah. There's
yeah, they even remade Ninja, like not horror movie related, but they remade like Ninja Turtles, and like just everything gets remade every so often that it's kind of like I just am like, meh. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Like I haven't been finding myself wanting to like put music on or like watch anything. I've just been like trying to keep busy tasking, whether that's like let me make some music or I gotta go do some work and so exist as a human or you know art. Yeah, I've been doing some like did some art. So I did some graphic art recently. Yeah, I've been keeping myself busy making all these mixtapes too because they're sometimes I'll do them in conjunction with other um, labels and stuff like that. But generally, I just uh, hit somebody up and go, "Do you want to do a split?" And they're like, "I don't know, maybe." And then we see what happens from there.
That's awesome.
Lately, so I'll do compilations, splits, mixtapes, albums, singles. I don't know, whatever. I'm down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're here to hear. Does all that and stuff. You can check out 734 SMG on Bandcamp. Also, Shit Blister is on Bandcamp still.
Um, I think it's up there, but I didn't post it up there. You know what I mean? There's like I guess another group called that, so you have to look for the noise stuff.
All
It's
right,
not
for
the
sure.
bus stuff.
Uh, Thanks for coming on the show, man. It was really a freaking pleasure talking with you. Definitely,
Yeah.
we will work on something here in the future, for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll look forward to that. Stay out of trouble. Keep it up, man. I'll talk to you later.
Later, brother.
All right, peace.